Alright, hi, welcome to another video of the Target Individual Program, the Target Individual Experience. So lately they have been very aggressive in targeting me, particularly within the home, particularly with my two grandnieces, right? So again, trying to use the theme, which again, they've you know, in our community, as in any other community, is one of the worst thing anybody can do, right? So they try to label you as such also, and trying to get these individuals to lie. And what they'll start doing is that now they will leave things. For example, I was in the kitchen earlier, there was bread here laying on the counter. Let me show you. All right, so the bread was actually turned like this, and I had breakfast. Nobody really. It's just my grandniece that's here with me. I think her father's here too. I'm not sure. But when I came back into the kitchen, they turned the bread around. Right? I talk about how they will target you aggressively at times with the UPC code or barcode. Right? Let's think about this in terms of from a religious aspect. Okay, these technologies are developed by extremist religious believers. Okay, who, because of their belief system, right, and also because of their inability to understand when black people are oppressed, our ability to rise up, or those amounts us to see, understand, and see the truth and start gathering our brothers and sisters to rise up. They don't want that. They're able to do it. Okay, the American Revolution, World War II, World War One, and so forth, right? So they're able to go to war, right? When particularly if like in Pearl Harbor, 9/11, so they retaliate. What they've been working on, and again, you guys need to go and read Dr. Jose Delgado book, Physical Control of the Mind, right? Which they want to put now as a novel. It is not a novel. It is his scientific research and his mindset going forward, okay? And what they've been able to do is, again, create technology to control the mind, create microchip in order to implant into a person's mind to be able to read their thought, to be also to be able to send the messages, send the receiver. So send the receiver microchip, right? Very small, tiny. Okay, don't be fooled by what they show you on YouTube with these tech industries. The United States military and security agencies are at least 10 to 15 years ahead of the private sector, and for the most part, it is the U.S. military who will fund programs in universities in order to avoid accountability and in order to fool us into thinking that these technologies are up and coming, which we know is not true. So I'll talk about my previous video about how they use Wi-Fi signal to basically create a image, right, of everyone within a location, within the home. You think this is new? This is not new. So what they do is that they try to say, they've been working on this. No, they've been able to do this since the early 2000s with Wi-Fi signals. Okay, so we're talking about almost 2 decades ago. So stop being fooled by what they try to tell us is new or what have you. Okay, see, most of us don't even think about technology, right? So we talk about like quantum computing, right? Quantum computing, okay? Terabytes of data transmitted through light, right? Petabytes of data stored on a droplet of water, okay? But because, again, they dumb us down, particularly when it comes to technology, but they feed us religion, because religion don't make you think, right? So they have us, particularly, not just as TIs, but particularly me being a black person and black people, particularly European people, right? Religion is more important to them than knowledge and science. This is why they're able to create and viruses to attack us based on our DNA, based on the melanin of our, based on our skin complexion, right? DNA based, frequency based weapons. This is what they're doing. This is what the white races are doing. All right. So I posted a video about Fred Hampton, this newly discovered documents that talks about how the FBI. Remember, Fred Hampton was what, I believe, 19 or 20 years old. Okay, and the FBI, along with the Chicago police, conspired to murder, to assassinate, right, a 19-year-old man, young man. I shouldn't say man, but young kid. Okay, we tend to underestimate the evil and the wickedness of most white people in America and across the globe. Right? And they hate it when those of us, particularly black people, speak up and speak out against what it is that they're doing. It is I think in America, black people, as well as Negro people, we're trapped. They have manipulated us so much. They have engaged in covert actions and covert manipulation in our community, manipulating us, manipulating each other, manipulating ourselves, and weaponizing us against each other. Right? But we are so preoccupied with foolishness. Right? Now they're naming our leaders. They're putting people on TV and say, hey, this is who your leaders are. This is who your leaders are. And that should tell you. And if you go and read the memo, the FBI memo about the black Messiah and what it is that they're going to do to anyone who they see have any sort of self-love for themselves and their people, wanting their people to do better, particularly as black people, how they will attack them, how they will control them. If they can't control them, they will destroy them. But you, Negropeans, have been conditioned with short-term memory. Okay? And we see what's happening now. We see that police, particularly white police officers in America, has now become emboldened. Ask yourself why. And then ask yourself why there isn't any protest as we had prior to COVID. You see, when they see that society is becoming awakened, particularly among black people and European people who turn black people, or African people, they have to do things in order to stop that momentum. Just as when black people started to gain economic upward mobility as a group, what do we see? We see they start to do predatory loan using the financial system, right? Baiting black people to buy homes that they couldn't afford to pay. And they knew that they were going to default. Then we saw the business industry started laying off black people. Then we had the crash of 2008, which basically wiped out all of the financial gain in which black people had accumulated within the past decade and a half. Wiped it all out. See, they're not burning down black towns anymore. Okay? They're not, for the most part, assassinating leaders anymore. Now they can do it through psychological manipulation, through the use of technology to manipulate a person's mind, to put thoughts into their minds, to create a new personality, one that is destructive to that individual and to the people around them. And this is what they've done to all of us as black and European people in America. This is why when people are awakened, they attack them. And they know, because our community is the most surveilled. There isn't anything that goes on in our community, isn't anything that we speak on the phone that they don't know. And because it's done covertly, okay, they can get away with it. And I'll tell you guys, go and look at how in the early 2000, particularly the so-called War on Terror, how the FBI, the police, would place tracking devices in people's car, on people's car, without a warrant, without probable cause. It's just if the person looks suspicious, right? All they have to do is say this person looks suspicious or is acting suspiciously, and they will do it. I posted an article on Facebook of a judge granting the police to basically uh, go into get the DNA site 23andMe, in which 1 million people who send their DNA into 23andMe was the uh, was the subject of an investigation, a fishing expedition by the police. I say fishing. You throw shit out there and then hopefully you get, you catch a fish, right? Okay, this is what they've been doing, and then after they've done that, and I think they caught some killer, what have you. Now all of a sudden now they say, okay, you know what? Well, we're wrong. We need to do this, what have you. So imagine that, violating the privacy of 1 million Americans, so they can go on a fishing expedition for one catch. Okay. Now, did those people give their permission? No, they didn't have to. And what happened afterwards? We saw a private equity firm bought the DNA company 23andMe. And so now, and that private equity firm, guess what, has ties with the police department, the FBI. On top of that, they can set anybody up that they want. They like to talk about people's history, but look at their history and look at what they continue to do, doing the same behavior. They'll always say, "Oh, I'm sorry, we didn't have a warrant. We're not going to do it." It's all lies. They do it because, again, to calm the public, the little outrage that the public may have. And I say little outrage because, we've been conditioned to the point where the only thing that makes us outrageous is what they say makes us outrageous. Okay? So, like I said, those things that they try with me is not going to work. And for one, I will never be silent because, again, this is not just about me. Okay? These people are operating as, as psychopaths and sociopaths, dark tribe personality type. They can do whatever they want. They have the power, they have the resources, they have the ability, they have the knowledge. Okay? And because, like I said, we're distracted. Okay? There's a book called Distracted and Defeated. Go read that book. I can't remember the author's name. But we as TIs, we are distraction. It is to get the public to participate in a game, because see, they love to make things into a game, right? Just as with Rome, they learned pretty well. They've manipulated. That's their special ability. That's their special power. It's psychological manipulation. I'm talking about the white races. Why? Because of where their ancestors came from. They had to fight for everything. They have to use psychological manipulation. This is why they can. And when you see every treaty that they've ever signed, they've broken it with non-white people. Okay, so again, understand who we're dealing with. And if you're a TI and you're a Caucasian TI, don't take what I'm saying as me hating on white people. No, because I know not all white people are I should say hate me, but they are racist, whether you want to admit it or not. We're living in a system which is created and designed to benefit white people and to disadvantage other groups of people. And no white person, I shouldn't say no white person, but white people in masses are not trying to change the system so that everybody else can have equality. They're not doing that. So when I speak like this, I'm not speaking for every white person, but it is the majority. Okay? So again, sometimes I got to do this because I know what they're going to be saying. I understand their mentality and how they think and how they try to create hate and manipulation, because they do it with me too. Okay, but it doesn't work. All right, and like I keep saying all the time, black people, we cannot be racist. We can be bigots, but we cannot be racist. Racism is a system that encompasses economic, educational, technology, psychology, science in general, anything that they can weaponize against non-white people. System in which they disadvantage and oppress non-white people. Racism is a system. Bigotry is your personal dislike for someone based on their color, hair, whatever you want to, you don't like about a person. But racism is a system. So please learn how to use these terms properly. And they will also try to redefine racism, but you have to actually go back to, let's say, prior to 2010 and look at the definition. Because everything now they've manipulated. Okay, so with that being said, I got another video I got to do, but I kind of wanted to show you guys this, because this is what they'll do in terms of using barcode. They will turn stuff over to where you'll see the UPC code of it, and then as I walked in, the first thing I look at was that. I didn't look at anything else, right? And again, this is the silent sound and how they can direct you, right? And you become fixated. Okay, and that's when you know that they are giving you instruction. Basically, the instructions is silent, so you don't you're not consciously aware of it. Okay, I'm aware of it after, right? When I find myself fixated, I'll keep looking at it. Every time I pass back and forth, my eyes go directly to that. Okay, that's what I do. I just turn it over. All right, so with that, let me give you guys another example. All right, just showed you what they'll do too. See, now normally this is like this. Okay, but when they start to target me, and you guys think I'm just to show you guys I'm not playing. Look, this is on the table. Okay, so again, I got to show you guys examples. Again, you'll see here. Okay, everything is turned around in which when I walk in what it is that I'm given instructions, a command to look at subconsciously. Okay, so I just want you guys to understand how this technology works and how they send you the subliminal message. And that because if I talk about these things, I'm going to get arrested if I go outside and such, which I don't really, I don't pay attention to that. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys in the next video.